Alrighty, so I know it was short, but last but not least, we have Jen Havig performing a comedy stand-up routine.
For the record, I'm not a student here, I actually teach here. I am actually 30 years old, believe it or not. So what am I? Thank you. Apparently you don't die, but the warranty does go out. It's like suddenly you get up in the morning, it's like, oh, that didn't used to do that. Crash all weird. Anyway. Macintosh, are you out there? I can't see you. Are you there? Anyway, there you are. All right. Shout out to my colleague out there. English department. So one of my students asked me, well, what are you going to do for this talent show? What are you going to do? And I said, well, I'm just going to get up here and just be my awesome self and just let everyone kind of bask in my glow. Just a little. Yeah, it doesn't work in the classroom either. So I've been teaching for a while now. And one of my favorite things about being a teacher has absolutely nothing to do with the classroom at all. It's seeing students outside of school. And if there are any teachers here, oh, the kids know. You know. Anyway, because it's this fantastic little rite of passage for the teenagers, because you'll see them at like the mall, because that's where teenagers go. And there's one of three reactions that you get from when you see your kids. The first one is like, oh hey, and they'll acknowledge you, and maybe chat a little bit, something nice and awkward, because they're there with your friends and you're with your friends and you're not the same age. And the second reaction is kind of a, what are you doing here? Like, we don't leave the building kind of thing, It's like somebody let us out of our cages. And the third reaction is, and this is my personal favorite, and it's especially if they're with a group of friends that don't go to Prairie, like their other schools or something. So they have absolutely no idea who I am. And they'll do this, and teenagers have no ability to be subtle in any kind of way, shape, or form, and parents, I'm sure you realize that. So it's this acknowledged eye contact, and then the kind of, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, don't look at me. And they kind of shy away over to the Cinnabon and just kind of like try to sneak away. And there are rules. There are rules to engagement when you're a teacher and you see kids in public. And the first thing is to judge their response, right? So you have these kind of 3 levels. And so if you have like the kid that is, pooping themselves because they see their teacher and they're with their friends. Because now keep in mind, if I'm with my friends and I see a student, it's not going to kill my social standing with my peers. But for them, it can totally just blow up any kind of little, hanging on coolness factor that they may have with their peers if their teacher's like, high five! And it's really too bad that Miss Noreen is not here to acknowledge this. Because I let the kids initiate contact. They will say hi if they want to say hi. Because some people take it a little personally. If you're like, oh, hey, how's it going? And they're like ignoring you, it's like, what? It's like, dude, they're 16. You're 35. Figure it out. It's weird. But something I do also enjoy is that, because I am young enough that I do know how to, say, text on my cell phone. My kids ask me, it's like, do you text like my dad does? Or it's like, poke, poke. And it takes them 8 years to write like a 5-word message, right? It's like, no, I have skills, actually. Little 2 thumbs sometimes. Sometimes, if you're doing something else, like eating or something, But I do use the ABC. I'm not a T9 fan at all. It does not have I have an English degree. It does not have my extensive vocabulary. T9 does not have all the words I need. And so I use ABC, but every now and then, if, sometimes it'll switch over if you hold down the button too long, if you're trying to get a, capital letter or something, and so you'll start using T9. I don't really look at my messages before I send them out, which probably is a bad thing. And so every now and then I'll get these messages from my friends, it's just like, what? And then I look at my sent messages, and it's like some kind of spell from Harry Potter, It's just like, sorry, my bad. But something that is terrible is, well, not really terrible, it's a good idea, actually. You're not supposed to text and drive, which is, you think about it, you should be, I don't know, driving. Less makeup application and eating and texting and I don't know. But so they're putting all these restrictions, it's a law now, can't text and drive, it's a secondary offense, they'll give you a ticket if they pull you over for something else. And teenagers have all sorts of restrictions because they're new drivers and they're just learning how and all those kinds of things. But there are still an incredible number of idiots on the road that do not know how to drive, apparently. At least they seem to be all in front of me whenever I'm trying to go somewhere. And it's not that they're illegal, they're not avoiding, they're not ignoring the law. It's they're ignoring the rules. And there are rules to driving. One rule, for example, is if you're on a two-lane road and they're both going the same direction, like it's a one-way kind of thing, or if it's like a 4-lane and they got two both going, it is against the rules. It's not illegal, but it's against the rules to be going the same speed as the car next to you, especially if that's like 15 miles an hour. That is against the rules. It's not illegal, it's against the rules. Another rule is, let's say you're driving down and you're going to make a right-hand turn, no problem. It's good to use turn signals. I'm a fan. I like knowing what other people are going to do. Makes me less of a mind reader. I enjoy that. It's good to use your turn signal. Not necessary and against the rules to slow down to 1 mile an hour 5 blocks before your turn. Right? That is against the rules, and these people don't realize this. But I am a fan of turn signals, and there seems to be this kind of universal balance with turn signals. Because it seems for every person that is shooting across 4 lanes on the freeway with nary a turn signal in sight, there's BAM! Traffic, whatever, gone. For every one of those, you have another 95-year-old man with an old man hat, in the slow lane with perma signal. Are you going on the shoulder? I don't know what you're doing, because this is a bridge. And so maybe there is some kind of, there's supposed to be so many number of turn signals, used in a day or whatever, but to me, that doesn't balance out. Something wrong with, makes me unhappy.